Alright, everybody. Welcome back to a new severe weather forecast. This is our first video that we've done in a while for forecasting, probably since the 11/4 event, so it's been a little bit over 2 weeks. We also live streamed on November 4th, and that was a historic tornado outbreak across the Arklatex region. Now, if we go to the Storm Prediction Center page, we can look at the historic event. Once everything loads up here, because it will take a second here. So here's 11/4. There were several different supercells that were very long tracked across the Arklatex region producing tornadoes. Along with those supercells, we had a few stronger to severe storms in Illinois, Wisconsin, and Iowa that produced hail and occasionally some damaging wind gusts. We had several significant tornadoes, including 2 EF4 tornadoes, so this is probably one of the most major outbreaks of the year. Here is a 21Z sounding out of Shreveport, and you can see how or why it was a volatile setup. And then looking at Shreveport at 0Z, the sounding is very well curved within the low levels. There's a lot of low level curvature. You have moderate instability profiles and steep low level lapse rates to kind of power the day through. Arkansas also didn't look too terrible. But now it's time to forecast the new severe weather. So tomorrow, across portions of Texas and Louisiana, we have a marginal risk here outlined in that dark green shading. This includes Houston, Texas, Pasadena, Texas, Beaumont, Texas, College Station, and Sugar Land, Texas. I also think this includes Lake Charles, Louisiana as well. Day 3, there's no severe weather that's expected, but there could be some probabilities that will be added as a couple strong storms were mentioned. Going back to day 2, sorry that I forgot this, 2% tornado prob, 5% wind. Day 4 through 8, this is when things start heating up. Potential's going to be, predictability is too low for day 4, but potential's too low until day 7. This is the first time since November 4th that we have a day 7 severe risk outlined. So this includes the pretty similar areas to that. Southeast Oklahoma, Central Arkansas, Western Central Arkansas, Northwest Louisiana, and then Northeastern Texas. If we look at the discussion here, by day 6, Monday, medium range guidance has persistently shown another large-scale upper trough developing over the western U.S. and ejecting eastward toward the plains on day 7, Tuesday. Deterministic and ensemble guidance is in greater agreement than average for the time period that severe thunderstorm potential will develop ahead of the ejecting trough on Tuesday across portions of Oklahoma, Texas, Arkansas, and Louisiana. The current expectation is that surface cyclogenesis over the southern/high plains will allow increasing southerly flow to support rich Gulf moisture northward across the Arklatex vicinity towards the Ozark Plateau. As the trough ejects eastward, favorable vertical shear will overlap with the deep boundary layer moisture and sufficient instability to set the stage for a potential severe weather episode late Tuesday afternoon into early Wednesday morning. Given the deterministic and ensemble, okay, we don't need to talk about the rest of it. You got the gist of it. A severe weather episode is possible with all hazards on day 7, Saturday. SBC is higher confidence than normal of the system, so let's talk about it. First, we're going to look into tomorrow because that is the first thing on the agenda. So here we go for tomorrow. And some showers and storms are going to be possible across the Houston area, or not Houston area, the Texas area. And then later tomorrow, we're going to see instability start to advect, and bam, mini supercells will form along the coast and probably move northward. Now, looking into environmental soundings, the shear is pretty low and the instability is pretty low. Pretty common environment for mini supercells in the winter. Our middle level and upper level shear, though, is a little bit higher. As we can see, our photograph kind of ends out, but our low level shear is quite low at around 10 to 15 knots. Now, as we get on further throughout the day, the low level shear is expected to increase some. So looks like the SRH increases a little bit, and our upper level wind shear increases a little bit as that system kind of powers through. We could see a squall line develops with supercells kind of embedded in it, and another system out there in Texas as well. Here's a look at 500 millibar with the HRRR. And we can kind of see that system kind of start to make its way into the north central United States there. We can see here, you can kind of see there's a little bit of a cutoff low that kind of provides some weird like split flow thing across like portions of Texas and Louisiana there, and we can see the convective system kind of moving that. Vectors are kind of discrete looking, and so we'll see probably some discrete supercells at first, and then we'll see the opportunity for a cluster and linear mess. Now moving on to the GFS here, we'll first look at the GFS. As we're starting to get into that range where global models are a little bit more useful because they're more consistent. So here we go. Here's the GFS. This is for the first system. We move it across the central United States. Low pressure kind of pops out there in Illinois on Sunday. This is our next big system right here. The snowstorm across portions of the Rockies. Low pressure, leaf cyclogenesis occurs in the Central Plains right about here on Monday, November 28th. And as we can see on Tuesday, this is supporting a low pressure system to build into kind of the Iowa, Missouri region with a very favorable environment for severe weather, really anywhere in here. Now, it could extend further north as well. We never know. The environment may go further north. It kind of depends on timing. As we can see, though, the GFS by 12Z, we got a big linear segment extending from the low pressure all the way through the Ohio River Valley, and more severe weather potential will probably exist in the Ohio River Valley down to the Mississippi and Tennessee River Valleys generally in here with a advancing swell line southeastward. We can see that system again. Wednesday will have severe potential as well. And then maybe something Thursday in the northeast. Probably not, though. Probably just be some gusty showers. And then after that, our pattern kind of goes a little bit more uncertain. Now, here we go. Here's our dew points. And we can see we have 60s, really. And then the day before, we have a large area with dew points in the low 70s to upper middle 60s, which is very solid. The only problem is our low pressure is a little bit displaced and the moisture isn't as great up there, but I would watch very closely for severe weather potential in Illinois, Iowa, and Missouri. If enough moisture is present, the timing is right. Could be quite potent with the 500 millibar look that we have. That is a classic look for a pretty big severe weather scenario up here, but it looks like the better severe weather may occur a little bit further south down here because of the moisture being better over there. Now, here's a look at 850 millibar. We can see, again, 850 millibar is very strong across this region. It's also pretty strong further south, too. But it's very strong down here because you have the low pressure system a lot closer to it, and that's going to give you more access to the 850 millibar wind shear. 500 millibar height anomalies are also quite significant. Looks like we have a bit of a negative tilt here. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. I'm not the best with tilts. And then we have very warm southeast high pressure, mid-Atlantic southeast high pressure, which is just a classic look for severe weather generally in this region. Very classic. Whoops, my pen is still on. Would not be an Andrew video without your pen going crazy. But yeah, we can see, again, very strong trough. Now, the consistency with the day is a little bit uncertain. If we go to model trend and we just play this thing, it's going to take a second for the GIF to load, but we can see here, there's a lot of uncertainties because initially we thought the system was going to be a lot slower, and you can see it's trending to be faster now. And if it trends to be faster, Tuesday will be the main day. If it's slow like it was yesterday, then Wednesday will be the main day, and it'll be further east across the Mississippi River Valley region. Here's a look at how Wednesday has trended. Let's go look at that. So Wednesday, initially, we kind of had the trend there. Over the last few days, it was getting really good on Wednesday, and then we started to see it trend a little bit further to the east, and the flow be a lot stronger, which kind of caused the system to progress further east. Because with a look like that, usually at 500 millibar, you would usually have a huge severe weather scenario, which is definitely possible because we have a lot of moisture convecting northward, especially Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama, maybe areas further to the south. And the SPC did mention that severe thunderstorm potential will continue or could continue in the lower Mississippi Valley, Central Gulf vicinity, maybe areas further north as well. But the evolution is too great to add an area, which is a perfect wording in my opinion, because evolution is too great to add an area. Another thing that I like to look at this far out is steep lapse rates, and we definitely have that. So there's gonna be, it looks like there's gonna be an EML present across the warm sector on Tuesday, which will help make sure that storms don't fire until later on in the evening, which is pretty, how do I word this? Which is usually when we want storms to fire. This time of year, we'd probably want them to fire mid-afternoon if you want the better severe potential, like 21Z or so. Now let's dive into the Euro run. So here we go. Here's the Euro. I don't know why it's doing this, but okay. But here we go. We can see we can see potential for some stronger storms again Saturday, maybe across the Mississippi River Valley there. We'll have to watch that. Here's Friday, another potential for some more stronger storms there. We can see this kind of advancing storm front kind of moves in there. And we can actually talk about that on the NAM here in a second. Probably should have picked that up earlier. We can see that's going to move in. And then we can see our new systems kind of forming back out here. I don't know why the Euro is glitching like this. It's kind of annoying. We can see here, we can see our storm. Least cyclogenesis is already starting to occur across Colorado with a big-time snowstorm. Which did not mean to advance it that far. And then here we go. Bang! That thing ejects very fast. 997 millibar low pressure. And we can see, here's our warm sector. Here's our warm sector storms generally across here, which is pretty much what lines up to the SBC. And we can kind of stop it there Wednesday and kind of look at our ingredients. So looking at this, we have very strong moisture. Euro is way stronger with the moisture. We have 60 dew points all the way up to Springfield, Missouri, and up to the Paducah, Kentucky area. And then we have a distinct dry line that's in place across portions of Texas here, which is going to probably give off some storm potential, along with maybe a dry line all the way into Kansas here as well. It definitely goes cold front in Missouri, Iowa, which doesn't surprise me. And looking at the MSLP maps, we can see there is pretty strong wind shear, especially Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas at the surface, and then up into Illinois as well. But Illinois does not have the needed instability to really give off with that. There is enough MU Cape for some severe potential, so severe thunderstorm potential will probably exist all the way up into Wisconsin and Michigan, probably generally in here. If the Euro solution was to be correct, there would be thunderstorm potential in here, but the severe potential would be limited to areas more generally in here, I would say. Probably should have used a different color, but yeah. The Euro, again, is with the idea of pretty strong lapse rates around the warm sector as well, which will really help enhance things. Here's a look at our mixed layer cape, which is more surface oriented, and we can see, yep, there it is. It's over kind of the central Mississippi Valley region. Again, let's look at the height anomalies. They are very strong. You can see, again, pretty negative tilted, high pressure here out in the eastern United States with the low pressure here out, upper low pressure out there as well. Another big thing that we like to watch for severe weather potential sometimes is defluence, and we have two areas of it. One across Arkansas and into Texas here, and another across Kansas, Illinois, Iowa there. So there's two areas of defluence. I think it enhances enhances something. I forgot. My bad, but correct me in the comments if anybody's watching. But we can see here, very strong upper level system. Again, kind of negatively tilted here. We can see very strong flow, large area flow. It's pretty spread out, not as compact, but it's enough. 850 millibar is also a lot further south and a lot stronger because the low pressure in this instance is in Kansas instead of Iowa. So those are going to be things we're going to narrow out. Where's the low pressure? You know, how fast does the system go? The GFS is generally more faster, so I probably would favor the Euro in low pressure kind of area. Now here we go. Here is Wednesday, and we can see very strong flow for Wednesday across the Ohio River Valley and into Dixie Alley. I need to use a different color because the flow is too strong that you can't even see my cursor color. There we go. very strong flow across these regions, and combine that with the dew points into the 50s and 60s, that's going to be more than enough for severe weather potential. Now, the problem is, how fast is the system going to go? Where is the system going to go? Where's the low pressure going to be? How strong do we get? Bomb cyclone genesis? We'll have to watch that. But the low pressure in this instance is in Canada, up in Ontario there. Not terrible placement. You're going to be a little bit removed from the low level dynamics, but in this instance, you're not too far removed from it. And we still see very strong 500 millibar wind support, which is huge when it comes to severe weather. So Wednesday could be another big day across portions of the Ohio River Valley, Dixie Alley, maybe further west, depends on how the system trends, because let's kind of look at the euro here with the model trend, and the model trend is starting to kind of come into range here with the euro. The euro is really starting to put this into piece and make it a severe weather scenario. Look at these last couple of runs. They've really started to come. The last 3 runs have really started to put the fact in that we're probably going to see a pretty good severe weather event across the Ohio River Valley. It's just where will it end up? And again, our height anomalies are very strong. Not as strong as the day before. We have a high pressure up here in Canada again. We have our upper level low pressure kind of generally here. You kind of see that thing move. And we can see temperatures are way higher than normal across the Ohio River Valley. And this is going to be a common theme. Temperatures on the euro are 20 degrees and higher than normal. Here on Tuesday, in the Midwest, there's some places with temperatures 25 degrees and higher than normal, which is crazy for the time of the year. You can see here temperatures are into the 50s, upper 50s, which is pretty good. Now here's a look at the NAM for that event on on Saturday. We'll kind of stop it here at 21Z. So it looks like the NAM has a snow event up there in the Texas Panhandle, which some of the other models have shown, in a very small warm sector. So yeah, that's not going to be a big event. Here we go. Here's a look at our MSLP low pressure system map here, and we'll stop it here at 0Z on on Tuesday, technically Wednesday, which is 7 p.m. on Tuesday. And we can see here the ensembles are a little bit disagreement, especially the Euro. The Euro has a lot higher disagreement. All the Euro ensemble members, though, are below 1,000 millibars with the low. Some of them even stronger, which is not surprising. Same thing with the GFS ensemble members here, too. So we're probably going to have a low into the 990s, most likely. Maybe even the 980s, going to depend. But placement is very uncertain. Some models have it placed out here. We have a package here. We also have a package here. On the Euro, it's a lot more spread out. We can see we have a package that's still out in kind of the Colorado-Utah region, or Colorado-New Mexico region, and we also have a package that's further out here, agreeing with the mean placement. Here's the mean MSLP. Let me put that out there. So we have 1,000 millibars, pretty strong MSLP support, or MSLP support across really this area right here on the Euro run. GFS run again, pretty similar. Here's a look at our mean moisture, and it's starting to really creep up. It was only 60s to generally this area a couple days ago. So here's a look at the mean median, and we can see here, this is really the area to probably watch pretty closely right now from what I'm seeing. Maybe areas further north as well, kind of depending upon how much moisture does come up there. GFS and Euro are generally in agreement of the moisture, except the Euro actually goes way further north. The mean into Illinois is into the 50s, which would be enough for some stronger storms and thunderstorms as well up there in Missouri too. As we get towards 6Z, it is, again, into the 50s up there. And then the next day, lots of uncertainty with the cold front. Some are 12, some are 61, some are 47, some are 68. It's pretty uncertain. Let's go to the GFS the next day. Thankfully, the mean models are generally in agreement with how fast the system is going to be, so it's probably going to be around the Euro speed is what I'm looking at. So yeah, the Euro is probably the best model right now for the speed of the system. And the trough shape is still quite uncertain, at least on Wednesday. We definitely got that tilt though. The Euro is a little bit more certain than the GFS. Here's a look at Wednesday, and we can already see a tilt starting to form in the Ensemble models, which is pretty rare for this point, especially on the Euro. More of a neutral tilt there, it looks like it. I don't know, maybe negative. But you can see here again, moisture's pretty strong on the Euro. We can already see mixed layer cape above 500 joules per kilogram. There's probability from Illinois and Iowa all the way into Texas. Very high, or not very high probabilities as you get toward Arkansas, or Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana, and Texas, which is why the SPC placed their 15% right there. Here's what the GFS shows for kind of its bullseye, and that is a very strong bullseye for this far out. That uptrended quick with the 6Z run. So we have a bullseye there in Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Louisiana. And again, the GFS is not as certain on Cape coming inland as the Euro is. But we'll definitely have the chance of seeing that. Now, before we leave, we're going to look at the Ensemble plot. And here we go. So, looks like this is probably not going to happen. This could happen. That could happen. That could happen. That could, maybe. We're kind of trying to get the outliers out. There's a lot of uncertainty with the GEFS right now and where the system's going to be. Some of the models want the system to be a Wednesday event, it looks like, as well. Probability of Cape above 1,000 is pretty high, especially on Wednesday and Tuesday as well. Let's look at the Ensemble SB Cape. So, looks like this solution is probably an outlier here. That solution's probably an outlier. This one's an outlier. And that one and that one. That's probably it for this point. And then again, generally we're looking at around 1,000 joules per kilogram between the Ensemble members for Tuesday. But thank you for tuning in to this video. We are going to end it here. Just know that the potential for severe weather is on the rise next week. We're not going to go into big super specifics at this point, as we're really only using wind shear plots and moisture plots. See y'all in the next one.